What's up, you guys? Sean Ross Sapp, managing editor, FightfulWrestling.com. We're here for the post-Smackdown show. It is Superstar Shakeup week. We're not limited to pro wrestling. We had the Fightful MMA podcast this afternoon. We covered UFC 236 this past weekend. Lots of stuff on that front. Go check that show out. Don't forget, leave us a thumbs up on this video. It helps new people find us. Subscribe. That helps out as well. Tap the bell for notifications. And a quick programming reminder. We are live every Wednesday at 6 p.m. Eastern now for the list and your boy. We wondered how that would do as far as traffic and all that. We got some of our best live numbers ever for the show last week. First week we were at 6. I want to thank you guys for that. And we're here for the Superstar Shakeup. I am joined by Alex Pawlowski, by the way. Alex, acknowledge people.
Hello, I acknowledge you.
Yeah. I still consider this sort of rolled in to WrestleMania. Like I see this as like the end of the WrestleMania rush. And fortunately, we have Andrew Thompson and Jeremy Lambert, our great news guys on the wrestling end, who are able to cover so much of this. But man, it's like it always seems like a fresh start, like maybe a little bit of optimism. But based on the continuing news that we hear throughout any amount of time, WWE wrestlers just want some creative satisfaction.
Yeah.
Alex. Luke Harper asked for his WWE release. That makes Dash and Dawson at one point, Mike and Maria at one point, Sasha Banks, Ty Dillinger, Hideo Itami, Dean Ambrose wants to leave. That's 10 people in roughly 4.5 months. I don't remember that ever happening. I don't remember that happening during the Montreal screw job.
And also Alexander Wolf.
That's far from confirmed.
Oh, okay.
Far from confirmed.
Right.
I don't want to speculate on that.
I guess I was reading "Goodbye WWE" in his statement as being definitive. But
why is he hashtagging on his notes app? By the way,
I don't know.
It doesn't work like that.
It really doesn't. Someone needs to explain to old Al that's not how it works.
Yeah, that's far from confirmed. I'm working to confirm that, but Sanity, as we look at things, Killian Dane bid farewell to Sanity.
Nikki Cross also, like, she posted this really, like, very, like, bittersweet, like this mosaic or a collage of pictures of all of them hanging out. Like, it's really sad. Like, the members of Sanity are not taking this well.
By the way, Nikki Cross not on Raw or SmackDown.
No. I will at some point tonight give you my crazy, wacky theory of where we're going to see Nikki Cross next.
Maybe with Killian Dane. That would make a whole lot of sense.
It would, but that's not my theory.
Okay. Well, we'll talk all about that. And I mean, there weren't that many NXT call-ups.
No.
And that I like, because there were a lot of people who were starving to do things. But we're going to go ahead and get into it. We're going to give you a complete rundown of everybody who switched brands at the end of this and what we think of that. But this show started off with Kevin Owens getting a great hometown ovation from the crowd. He touts the shakeup in WrestleMania and introduces Kofi Kingston to a giant pop. There's no biggie. He sustained a meniscus injury last week. So Kevin Owens congratulates Kofi Kingston, and there are "we" chants. There are some soccer chants. Lots of great stuff there. Xavier Woods says he's going to go crazy because Tyler Breeze is not on the show, and he does not get Tyler Breeze.
No, he doesn't. He's very upset about that.
At least as of now.
As of right now.
Tyler Breeze. Because what I don't want to happen, Alex, is at the end of this night, like me and you pointed out, them to be like, oh, by the way, these 10 more people are on SmackDown, and these 10 more people are on Raw. That is counterproductive in my estimation.
Yeah, it's counterproductive, and yet they've done it every time they've done one of these things.
They haven't done it every time.
Not every time, I guess.
Not every time. They've limited it to some degree, but it used to be real bad, like in 08, 09, I think.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it was just like everybody. They traded rosters.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing that I wish they had done more of is like, we traded this superstar for this superstar. Like,
I would love legit trades throughout the year.
Legit trades throughout the year would be fine. And also, Raw got this person, and as a result, SmackDown got this person. Like, over the course of these two nights, you can say that, and we'll totally be cool with that. I mean, I think one of the things that I think isn't available for them to talk about because Joe is sick or hurt or whatever is that apparently we can assume, I suppose, that Balor has been traded for Joe, because that's usually the way things like this happen. But
Joe was supposed to be there last night. As I reported on Select, he was sick to the point of where he couldn't function, apparently.
Yikes.
So that's rough, but I did mention that Almas perpetually chasing a United States title.
Yep, forever.
But we'll talk more about that as we get there. Kevin Owens offers himself up as Big K for the New Day. But then he says, no, Big O is funnier, so we'll do that. He wants to be the third member of New Day. Owens is fantastic here. His comedic timing is almost unmatched. And need I remind you, every single time this happens, this is his second language.
Yeah, no, he's
I wish I was that funny in my first language.
He's a treasure. He's amazing at what he does, and the fact that he's so effective at being heel or face. I love that he's able to roll the punches. When he goes, according to my notes, which I left in the locker room, but that's okay because I memorized them anyway. I believe that in that moment he realized, oh crap, I don't have my notes. I better add them something here, and it was better than whatever he was supposed to say. I also really hope, though I have obviously no confirmation or whatsoever about this, that it was scripted to be Big K, and he was like, no. It's funnier to say Big O. So in the moment, I'm switching this thing to Big O, and now I'm Big O, because that is way funnier than Big E.
Also, I don't know if you conferred with your close personal friend, Mr. Warren Hayes, but that is also the name of Olympic Stadium. It's the nickname of Olympic Stadium in Montreal. So
perfect.
Also makes it funnier, as he pointed out. Go give Mr. Warren Hayes a follow, by the way. He'll be doing the NXT 205 Live UK review on Fightful Select this week, as every week. Xavier Woods reminds Kevin Owens that there's a lot of groinal movement, and Kevin Owens gets arguably the biggest dong-shaking pop I have ever heard.
Yeah.
It was amazing. Like, I've never seen quite anything like it.
Yeah, he's great. Again, as you said, the comedic timing of it. Like, oh, you think I can't do this? And like the exact amount of seconds.
And if you want to get a dong shaking pop, check out our friends at Blue Chew, Alex.
Walked into that one.
You sure as hell did. BlueChew.com brings you the first chewable with the same FDA-approved active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis, so you know they work. Take them anytime, day or night, even on a full stomach, and since they're chewable, they work up to twice as fast as the pill, so you can be ready whenever the opportunity arises, even if you're switching brands. Make your impression. Get that confidence. There doesn't have to be something wrong for you to enhance your performance. Blue Chew is prescribed online, shipped straight to your door in a discreet package. No in-person doctor's visits, no waiting at the pharmacy, no more awkwardness. They're made in the USA, and since they prepare and ship direct, they're cheaper than a pharmacy, and right now you get them for free. Free. Just use the code FIGHTFUL. All you got to do is pay $5 shipping. Alex, you take a Blue Chew. The big O is taken, but you can be the big D with Blue Chew. Code FIGHTFUL.
Well, if you'd like to give somebody the big O, you might get some help from. From
damn right.
Yeah.
I'm so proud of you right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. This was good. Normally, I don't know how I'd feel about this segment. There were some people that are like, oh, Kofi Kingston, comedy. Huh. Yeah, he's an entertaining, funny act. He can be funny sometimes.
Can you imagine if they were like, okay, well, now you've got the belt, so no more being fun.
Nobody has to, everybody doesn't have to always be the big dog of the World Wrestling Federation. That's not the way that it works. But Kevin Owens offers himself up as a teammate against Rusev, Nakamura, and Cesaro. DJ Cass asked the question, what in the world is with all these 8-man, 6-man, and tag team matches that mean nothing? It is simply a way to introduce talent. That's what it is here. And I thought, all things considered, tonight's SmackDown had some real good wrestling, Alex.
Yeah, it did. I mean, I think that a lot of it is the thing that I've been getting from people is they'd rather see these champions in the matches that I mean, like the tag division, fine, put your tag teams in tag matches, but you have people like Seth Rollins and Kofi Kingston, who are singles champions, ostensibly the top on their brands, who are forced into these giant multi-man tag matches, which feels like, okay, great, cool. I'm glad that they're involved. Thank you for putting them on the screen at least. But it'd be better if we actually saw them wrestling singles matches that would move them toward their next major feud.
Yeah, I would agree. Up next, actually, backstage, Cesaro offers his services to Rusev and Nakamura.
Yeah.
After that, no Sheamus in sight tonight. Finn Balor, he's on SmackDown. This is a move that probably needed to happen. That being said, I feel like they added one too many pieces to SmackDown because at least Bobby Lashley isn't on SmackDown because you had to get Finn Balor away from Bobby Lashley.
Yes.
For the love of God.
Yeah.
But the IC title on SmackDown, I like that move, Alex.
No, that's good. I'm here for that. That's fine. We assume moving Samoa Joe to Mondays allows for that, the giant hoss battle that we were hoping for him and Braun to possibly happen. The one guy that didn't get moved so far from Raw to SmackDown that I thought was a shoo-in was Drew McIntyre. Mm-hmm. I thought that was perfect for him to show up and screw with the New Day and probably be the guy who takes the belt off of Kofi eventually, keeping him on Raw, where he maybe will be a thorn in Seth Rollins' side, but keeping him separate from the big surprise that we'll talk about later is also probably good for him in the long run as well.
Xanthuius sends a super chat. By the way, guys, you send a super chat, any donation, we will answer your question. His question is, pardon the interruption, but would either of you fine gentlemen happen to know who's the cat who won't cop out when there's danger all about? Homeboy, that's Shaft.
That is Shaft.
That is Shaft.
Yep.
Question my taste in film ever again, and so help me God. Shaft is confirmed better than Pulp Fiction. This was a good match. Finn Balor took on Ali. I figured you were just all shitted up in your pants.
Well,
for this one.
I was more shitted at the beginning when I thought, oh, cool, IC title match. No, because they don't do those anymore. They don't do actual title matches on these shows. I was cool. I certainly was intrigued. I think that it's cool to see Mustafa in there with another cruiserweight.
Yeah,
because it's been a while. But this is a thing that they're doing now with him, where it's not my preference for what he's being booked as, but I can absolutely see him as your top upper mid card hope spot babyface. Like that's like I don't think he might never get a title run with anything. If he does, it'll only be the IC title. It'll never be at the top level. But he's always going to get good reactions, and he will always make whoever he's in the ring with look like $1 million.
I would agree. I loved this match. I thought this was a lot of fun.
Really, really good match.
They slugged it out hard. Balor connected on a dive. They don't really slow it down that much during the commercial.
Uh-huh.
They had this chop trade that was really good. Balor stomped Ali a lot more in the throat than he did in the chest.
yeah, that little quick short stop was a little high.
Gonna have to watch that one. Balor stomps. I mentioned that. Ali does a phenomenal Super Frankensteiner, but misses his 450. Balor dropkick, coup de grace. That shit was good. Balor is very much better suited for SmackDown. Shorter show with likely less talking. And here's the thing. Openings at the top of the card for heels.
Yep. Which
could be very good.
Yep. I really appreciated the back and forth nature of the finish of this match. It really felt like, I could absolutely see them the problem is that I don't think they were ever going to have Finn lose two non-title matches to different guys younger than, or lower than him, quote unquote, on the card in back-to-back nights. So the fact that he lost to Andrade last night pretty much confirmed that there was no way he was losing Mustafa tonight. But separate from all that context, within the context of the match, it looked like it was possible to give Mustafa the win. And I loved the no water in the pool 450, but he landed on his feet, rolled through it, turned around right into the running drop kick, right into the coup de grace. That was great. Very, very well done. And again, you could hit that running drop kick against a whole lot of people into the corner. The Finn does. When he hits it to Mustafa Ali, it looks like he was shot with a cannon. Like he really makes everything look like it hurts.
Are you ready for some more breaking news?
Please.
Remember how we said that we didn't want them to announce a bunch of names?
Yeah, we did.
Liv Morgan, Chad Gable, Apollo Crews, Mickie James, all to SmackDown. Which begs the question.
Wow.
Who's going to wrestle on Raw in that women's division? We'll talk about that in a bit. We will add our conclusive thoughts on these Soup Shake people. Actually, we might as well now. Liv Morgan away leads that's no more Riot Squad, at least to that degree.
Yeah.
Good. Sarah Logan should be with the
Viking Experience.
Yeah, that thing. I almost called them the Viking Express. I thought that was their name. Ruby Riott needs to be a top of the card.
Yes.
Woman, because that division is something. Apollo Crews, I honestly kind of figure he ends up teaming with Chad Gable in about 6 months.
Yeah.
And I think that would be good.
I mean, I love your thing. We have Rude and Gable come out and say, all right, that's it. No more Mr. Nice Guys. We're dedicating ourselves to tag team wrestling. We're going to be the best tag team on Raw. We lose 2 matches in 2 weeks. Then we're going to get split up in the Superstar Shakeup. So good writing, guys. Like, I guess you're keeping us on our toes, but that was all for naught. Chad Gable's ridiculously talented. Can you figure out a way of just allowing him to be good without having to attach him to old guys in tag teams? Listen, him and Apollo Crews, I'm fine with, but I also feel like there's a singles career in there for Chad Gable somewhere, particularly since they're bringing up dudes from 205 Live onto the main roster. He's not tiny anymore if you're promoting the dudes under 205 pounds.
I'll tell you what, I don't need to see a Bobby Roode singles run. It does not click for me. It doesn't do it for me.
Yeah, Raw, we're going to talk about this. Raw's a wasteland in certain areas.
Right now, oh yeah. I mean, their tag team division was before this week. Now it's looking real choppy. We'll go ahead and get into the next segment. Charlotte Flair taking on Carmella. These two have really good chemistry together. I think back of that match where you and I were like,
"Yep,
did Carmella just carry Charlotte Flair?"
Yes, she did.
And Carmella has not wrestled a ton in singles action since then.
Mm-mm.
Well, she and Charlotte work really, really well together. And honestly, wouldn't surprise me to see Carmella move over if they're making more changes. I don't know what's going to go on here. I don't know if we're done with the Superstar Shakeup right now. Have no idea.
Listen, the thing. You know as well as I do that sometime in the middle of May, Carmella could just wind up on Raw. They'd never explain it, and we'd have to go along with it.
And that bothers me. That bothers me, man.
Oh, it bothers me too. But the idea that we're like, well, look at, I mean, if you take a look at the roster of the women's division on Raw versus SmackDown, obviously there's a very large discrepancy. It doesn't matter because at any point anybody can switch brands because who cares? Because that's the way that they've decided to write their shows. Is that nothing matters? Hooray!
Well, Charlotte is screaming in the ring. She gets super kicked twice. Carmella reverses a body slam with the old Edge-O-Matic. Charlotte goes to work on the knee, slams Carmella into the barricade. Carmella taps the figure eight, but she got a lot of offense in here.
She did.
Charlotte gave her a lot in that regard, and this was just a good match. Yes, this was good, and there ain't no shame in losing to Charlotte Flair.
No, there isn't. They're going to keep her strong, certainly keeping her on SmackDown. While Andrade is on Raw is an interesting thing, and kind of goes to my point that they're not batting 1,000 on keeping those people together anymore.
Well, I mean, they're not exactly a married couple.
No, not a married couple. And certainly, listen, who knows if Vince has any idea what's going on, depending on who's dating who. But whatever I'm saying is I liked this match. I really enjoyed the finish. It was very simple.
Mm-hmm.
Chop block on the apron leads directly into the figure eight. That's
Clean
how you
as a
finish
sheet.
somebody. Complete. That's great. Like I started worked on your leg with a very specific move and event and finished you off with it. That's
I love
matches
it, man.
should end that way. They don't always have to end with a distraction roll up. Like
You know how many MMA fights? You know how
Yeah.
many MMA fights I see where somebody chops away at the leg, and then the leg just gives.
Yep.
Love it, man. I love it. Lars Sullivan shows up, and I put in my notes, who knows what brand he's on at this point? I've been told it's SmackDown, as I posted on Fightful Select. I've been told by people backstage he's on SmackDown.
Yeah.
He beats up R-Truth, gets a great reaction for it, too.
Yep.
Like, got a really good reaction. And eyes Carmella, running powerbomb, finishes it. So, no Ray match, apparently, but all right, cool. We'll see how that hashes out. Then, like, everything happened at the same time. Becky Lynch cuts a promo, and she's interrupted by Amber Moon, who I thought, you know what? That's good.
That's so good. Like,
I thought
at this point in the promo, I was like, I don't know what they're doing with Becky. If she's defending the Raw title on Raw and defending the SmackDown title on SmackDown, and if they alternate pay-per-views or whatever, if the first SmackDown challenger to Becky Lynch is Ember Moon, boy, that's a match I'm looking forward to. And then all of a sudden, everyone joined the roster.
Everyone joined SmackDown. Bayley shows up, and I think, oh, okay, that's fine. We can deal with that. We can do Bayley. That makes a lot of sense. And she says, which a point that is reiterated, I think, somewhere near 42 times.
Yeah.
She's focused on singles competition.
Yeah, that was really interesting. She says, I spent the better part of a year willing those tag team titles into existence. And we were the first team ever to win them. And now I'm focused on singles competition here on SmackDown.
Yeah.
It really drove home the point of like, yeah, those things exist. Because Sasha and Bayley like angled for those things. I mean, other people did too, but they were saying, we want these. And basically from a lot of reports that I read, like did a lot of pestering to the actual, okay, fine. Yes, you're right. We'll do that. So her coming out and saying I'm wrestling on SmackDown now and I'm doing single stuff, like it kind of hit. Like I was like, wow, that's oof.
Y2 Jericho says, y'all catch them booing Bayley. There's no story to that. It's Montreal. It happens every year.
Montreal. But I wonder honestly.
They boo who they cheer and they cheer who they boo.
That's true. But I do wonder overall, because I have seen a lot of anti-Sasha stuff on social media.
Of course.
I wonder how much of that just transfers over to Bayley because of association.
Yeah,
and people are basically booing Bayley because Sasha's not there for them to boo, and that's not. And come on, guys, come on.
Yeah, it's standard. It's Bayley in Canada, man.
Yeah,
it works like that. They're interrupted by the Iconics, who troll all of them, but then Paige shows up, and she's debuting her new team. But Fire and Desire come out, and Paige goes, "Well, no, it's not them.
No, not those people.
It's Asuka and Kairi Sane." Hell of a team. It's not the Sky Pirates. They've got plans for Io Shirai and NXT, and perhaps appropriately so. She's not as accustomed to the brand yet, but
yeah.
Hey, this ain't a bad one.
Yep.
But it is also real loaded on SmackDown right now.
Yeah, it's interesting that they like, oh, here's this new tag team of Kairi Sane and Asuka, each of which I could absolutely see being at the top of a singles women's division.
And I like that. That's how tag team should be.
Right. No, this is fine that you're keeping them here, but I want to see a Kairi Sane run at the title at some point. I want to see Asuka back up near the title because I still think she was frantically, taken out of that spot erroneously. But I am very excited that they're saying, okay, we have a tag team women's division now. We have these tag team titles that people are going to be going after. let's create actual, real, formidable tag teams. And that's what they've done here. And the people, you know, who are like, well, they can't be because they don't speak English. Well, now you got Paige who can manage them, and you can silence those people right away.
Yeah. This leads to a tag team match, a really good one. I had mentioned last night that I think a lot of people are going to notice the style of Raw's women's division changing because you had Ronda Rousey and everybody was trying to keep up with her physicality in the ring. And you saw some stuff kind of get softballed last night.
Yeah.
Things did not get softballed on SmackDown Live tonight in this 8-woman tag or in the Carmella versus Charlotte match. I love that. I love the snug work. Bayley does a huge suicide dive on the Fire and Desire. The new Sky Pirates are working well together. Mandy Rose's bicycle knee continues to be awesome. One of my favorite moves in wrestling right now is from Mandy freaking Rose, which is really cool. Really fun, fast-paced match. It's almost like SmackDown's women adopted Raw's style, and I'm cool with that. Everyone gets a little shine at the end. Billie Kay's sell of Kairi Sane spinning back fist is freaking hilarious.
Great.
She's wonderful in what she does. They know that compared to everybody else, they're not going to be – not everybody, as mentioned earlier, not everybody can be the big dog of the World Wrestling Federation.
That's right.
But if you carve out that role for yourself and make yourself useful – you can do this. Kairi Sane got over with the crowd just based on her finish.
Yeah.
Great reaction. Asuka using a reverse DDT as well, perhaps as to make Darren Young stop crying. Have you heard that story?
No.
Oh, boy. So Chris Van Vliet did an interview with Darren Young, and I was a part of that media tour as well. You know how I do making a finisher?
Yeah.
I was going to do one called erasing a finisher. Because WWE, when Darren Young was managed by Bob Backlund, said, hey, you can't use the crossface chicken wing anymore. Can't use it. It's dangerous. Like, huh? And they were like, oh, well, do it on Randy Orton and see how he likes it. He's got shoulder issues. And he's like, well, man, it's not that serious.
Yeah.
Not that serious. And he was told to use the Cobra Clutch instead. And he goes, well, why isn't Sergeant Slaughter my life coach then? He's like, I know him. I like him. But that's not what we're doing. It's Bob Backlund. He uses the crossface chicken wing. And he said that The Miz came up to him in the locker room and was like, hey, I was just watching NXT last night. Asuka's using the crossface chicken wing. They were saving the move for her.
Right.
And he says that he, in the locker room, pardon my language, said, I fucking knew it. And that he cried to Triple H.
Wow.
And unfortunately, I was going to put this out for an erasing the finisher, and I still might. But Chris Van Vliet has the interview out where he tells the story in detail as well. Crazy stuff. But Asuka using reverse DDT, she's having mercy on the man.
Right. Well, I also love that it's a reverse DDT, which plants the victim directly in the path of the insane elbow. That's I always appreciate a move from one tag team partner to put the opponent where they need to be for the other tag team partner's finisher. I always appreciate that. The reverse DDT is fine. It's a scorpion death drop. Like
part of me wouldn't hate to see Kairi Sane doing that elbow drop while Asuka has somebody in the chicken wing.
That might be a little dangerous.
Let's really get those tears out of Darren.
Yeah.
Sorry, man. He's a really nice dude, but hey.
Yeah.
DJ Cass says, I've seen instances where one show will get like a stacked roster. Won't mean anything months down the line, so the shakeup doesn't matter. Well, the shakeup does matter, but it matters as much as WWE allows it to matter.
Right.
And makes it matter. And we'll see. Maybe some new people will get a push on Raw.
Yeah.
I don't think that Raw's women's division is short on talent. What I think is it's short on people that are protected. Yeah. I mean, Ruby Riot's really good. I think that Natalya is really good in the ring. I look at Alexa Bliss. She's a fantastic character. I look at Dana Brooke and I've said, you know what? Let's give her a shot. Let's see what she can do. She's improved a lot. Sarah Logan, we don't know what she can really do as a singles. You look at Sasha Banks. Is she coming back? I don't know. Naomi's hit or miss.
Yep.
Now, the thing is, none of them have been protected, Alex.
Nope.
Who would you say maybe the most? Alexa Bliss? Well, that's because she hasn't wrestled.
Right. I mean, and they can easily say this thing like, well, she had her first match back and she beat Bayley very soundly. You can basically say that we kind of like, okay, she's a 5-time former champion or whatever it is. They could easily go back to protecting her very quickly. There's other things you can do. We can have Ruby Riott come out and say, all right, you've broken up my squad. Now it's just me. It's a 1-woman squad, and I'm going to take people out. And then she could be redouble her focus and her efforts and come out and kick people's asses. You can do that. You have a great opportunity with good storytelling and writing to get people over from places. What I don't like is where you skip all that storytelling and promo stuff and just have them win a match and expect me to go, oh yeah, they win matches now. You have to figure out a way of changing the character a little bit, give them new motivations, a new finisher, something that allows them to be believably winning new matches.
Yeah. Yeah. Other happenings, Jeff Hardy is the absolute shits in this selfie promo. Yeah, man, I am still feeling it from that Lars Sullivan attack last week, man. I'm like, dude, I hear how you talk. You round off your words. You don't add your INGs. I've heard it for 2 decades now. Yeah. Hardy's tout their title win, though. And then let's fill Alex's diaper. Buddy Murphy is headed to SmackDown. I can't wait for him to be the first victim of the big dog of the World Wrestling Federation, Alex.
Man,
no, I'm just kidding.
No.
This is cool. Buddy Murphy on SmackDown.
Buddy Murphy. Here's the interesting thing that I think is really interesting, and I don't know where 205 Live is going, how this is all going to shake out. But last November, if you were to say to anybody who watches 205 Live, who are the top 3 guys on this show, their answer would be, in some order, Buddy Murphy, Cedric Alexander, and Mustafa Ali. All 3 of those guys are on the main roster in some place now. That's really cool. That there's not a ceiling. I
can't hate on it.
Yeah, you can say before it was like, well, that's a death sentence. You get sent to 205 Live, you got nothing. Here's another guy who would have been in my top 5 or 6 in November on 205 Live is Lio Rush, who's not wrestling anymore, but he's on TV every week. And he's helping Bobby Lashley be something that's at least interesting occasionally.
205 Live has like 9 people now. So that means we got to see some new people on there. Yeah. And 205 Live, as you mentioned, not a death sentence.
No.
What was the thing that we mentioned last year repeatedly? It would be really neat if people from 205 Live could do like New Japan and declare that they're heavyweights now.
Yeah.
That's exactly the same thing. It is the same exact thing, except they do it in the WWE way. Now, when you look at things, right now the 205 Live roster is Tozawa, Arya Daivari, the Brian Kendrick, Gulak, Gallagher, Carrillo, Mike Kanellis, Oni Lorcan, Tony Nese. I know a lot of people will get all pissy in their pants about it, but I think Pete Dunne going to 205 Live would not be a bad idea.
Well, it could certainly be a bridge. And then he could, because now we know eventually if you're good enough on 205 Live, you can wind up on the main roster. Before Mustafa Ali made the jump, that was impossible. That was theoretically impossible for you to go from 205 Live to a main roster spot. So now the thing I think that would be really good is if they blended more the fact that Oni Lorcan is currently working both places. He's in NXT and 205 Live.
Sure.
I think that all the guys who are under 205 Live in NXT should at least have showcase matches on 205 Live and maybe even mini feuds that last a few weeks, because there could be a way of transitioning guys from NXT to 205 Live and then beyond.
Look at UK. I mean, we've seen some of the transition. Noam Dar moved to UK. Yep. We have Cassius Ohno moving from NXT to some degree over to NXT UK.
Yeah.
I like that. If it's not working for somebody in one place, slide them over into something else. And I think that Pete Dunne could add some sort of marquee value to the 205 Live brand. Yeah. Not in that, casual fans are going to know him. I know I'm going to get some doofus out there that says, nobody knows who Pete Dunne is. Yeah. And am I the type of person that's like, Pete Dunne is going to wrestle. Let me tune in. No, I'm not. But there are a lot of people who are. He's got a very devoted fan base.
If Pete Dunne showed up on 205 Live tonight and challenged Tony Nese for a match for the Cruiserweight Championship next Tuesday on 205 Live, I'm going to watch that while we're doing a podcast. I'm watching that match. I'm not missing that live because, again, that's live. There's something else that's going on here with the Buddy Murphy and Kairi Sane thing. Both of them have championship matches on tomorrow night's taped NXT. And it kind of ruins, I know we know a lot of other wrestling fans keep up on spoilers, but a lot of people don't. And so it's like, oh, well, I guess Buddy Murphy doesn't beat Velveteen Dream then. Like, it's kind of kind of too bad. It might have helped them to have them announce that at the end of NXT tomorrow and then have them show up next week on SmackDown. But that's just nitpicking.
Also, it's worth noting, WWE just signed Trevor Lee.
Yeah.
He could pop up on 205 Live. He doesn't need to spend any time in NXT.
No,
he's been working in front of cameras the last several years of his career. So,
I will say you mentioned something about Buddy Murphy being the first victim of the big dog on SmackDown Live. Listen, he's not going to win that match, but Buddy Murphy versus Roman Reigns would be fire.
If I'm Roman Reigns, that's the type of person I want working me in a 4 or 5 minute match at the very least. Also, Stokely Hathaway for 205 Live seems like a good idea. Anyway, as we move on, the New Day defeated Rusev, Cesaro, and Shinsuke Nakamura. Backstage, they made Big O eat a bunch of pancakes to get into the New Day. Big O does the intro very well.
Yeah, it was really cool.
Did you see the picture that Big E tweeted?
I did.
From his hospital room. That was great. I love that they busted out the unicorn stampede that they don't really do anymore.
Yes.
Just to get Kevin Owens in on the hour, Big O in on the action.
Yeah.
And the cannonball at the end. Heels took control through the break, but Xavier hit a fantastic missile dropkick.
Mm-hmm.
I usually hate those because it looks like the person doing them gets hurt more. You heard me bitch about it for weeks until they just stopped doing them all the time.
Yeah.
This one looked really good. Kofi hot tags to a big pop as Cesaro does a swing, and nobody sells it better than Kofi Kingston.
Yeah.
Just throws his arms out there. The finish is set up by a great assisted tope con hilo from Newer Day. Trouble in Paradise into a stunner. Tell me what you thought of the Rusev sell, because it seems like there is nothing. Keep in mind, this man is married to Lana, and it seems like nothing gives him more joy in life than taking a stunner.
He found a new interesting ways of doing that. Like, this is this point, I just have to, in some place, I don't know how we figure out, how do we get around to it, but they're on the same brand now, so it's theoretically possible. I need to see Rusev take an Eclipse from Ember Moon, because I feel like he would bounce out of the ring. Like, he just loves taking that stunner so
Mixed
much.
match challenge is my best hope for that.
Yeah,
and
that would be
I hope it happens. This was fun. It was harmless. I'm enjoying Kevin Owens as a babyface, which is why I don't want the heel turn to happen.
Right. Here's the thing that that we've been conditioned by years of WWE programming and writing. Nobody can just be somebody's friend.
Yeah.
You can't have somebody and say, "Hey, I like you. I'm a good guy. You're a good guy. Let's be buddies." Because then it just requires everyone to do like the shifty-eyed dog meme, and you're like, I don't think I necessarily trust you. And that's the thing, is that I wish we could just accept Kevin Owens genuinely, sincerely wanting to be the New Day's friend and the new Big E. But we can't, because that's been ruined by years of WWE saying anytime a guy who used to be a heel is trying to play nice, you know he's going to turn on somebody eventually. And I wish we could just allow us to have nice things.
Callum Williams says they moved Liv, Gable, Cruz, Mickey James to SmackDown. If you don't know yet, we do. Thank you for the super chat, though. If you want to ask a question in addition to that, feel free, since we had kind of already addressed that. This was a fun segment. The main event, the biggest acquisition, which was teased.
Yes.
Now, I believed in my heart of hearts that they meant the biggest acquisition of SmackDown Live, not SmackDown history.
Yes.
That covers a lot of ground. That covers Hulk Hogan and The Rock and Batista.
Mm-hmm.
But the way that WWE views this, it very well could be. And it's not wrong, because the biggest acquisitions in SmackDown Live history in the Superstar Shakeup prior were The Miz and Charlotte Flair. By the way, makes a lot of sense, as we'll talk about. We'll just get into that. We're going to give a complete Soup Shake breakdown in a moment, but Elias is brought out, and the Strum is botched.
Yes.
But he says that he questioned Vince McMahon about the WrestleMania stuff and getting attacked by everybody, but he has his finger on the pulse and will replace AJ Styles atop the brand. I thought name-dropping AJ was really smart.
Sure.
It showed that Elias has the intent of being the new franchise.
Yes.
But Roman Reigns is there.
Yes.
And this is a big one. This one changes the face of the entire company, because this is the guy that the show has been built around for 5 years now.
Yes.
For better or for worse, this entire program has been crafted with plans for this guy to be the top name in the entire company. They're going to Fox this fall. Obviously, that has a lot to do with it.
Yep.
I know that Fox wanted a Ronda Rousey. This ain't a bad consolation prize, Alex.
No, it's not. This is them giving Fox a make good. This is them saying, we're serious about this. Here's our top guy. And there's zero doubt in my mind that by October he will be the WWE champion. Just zero doubt.
Sure.
So that'll be the way that they say, okay, Fox is getting our best guy on what we can sell to them is our best show. This was fine. It's a weird deal of like the deliberate troll job that WWE and Vince McMahon pulls on the audience. Like, oh, it's the biggest one ever. Here's Elias. And the idea that then we have Roman comes out, hits a Superman punch on Elias, and then hits one on Vince, and is like, I don't care what he says. I'm the big dog here. And I'm like, and what WWE wants us to believe is that Vince really wants Elias to be the top guy on SmackDown and not Roman. And Roman shows up and says, screw you, Vince. I'm like, when we all know what the actual deal is. I mean, most of us who watch the show at least know that Vince has been backing Roman Reigns for years. And we've also watched the show for several months now and know that Elias exists only to have the better of gotten by somebody else who shows up for a couple of weeks or one night, like Jeff Jarrett or Kurt Angle or, The Undertaker or John Cena. So the idea that they want us to believe that Elias is Vince's favorite is just a troll job.
Alex, all of this just begs the question.
Yes.
Roman Reigns, Becky Lynch, Charlotte, got a lot of big names on SmackDown Live.
Yep.
Just how much help does Primo Cologne need?
Lots.
Evidently.
Yeah.
Evidently. I liked SmackDown tonight. It was fun. The Superstar Shakeup is always going to be a fun show for me because things seem important.
Yep.
And they seem like they matter for at least this week. SmackDown seems like it's going to matter for a long time.
Right. It honestly feels like SmackDown is too loaded to be a 2-hour show.
And what I would have done is probably put the tag team title picture for the women's side over on Raw for a little while because they're going to need some help filling stuff out. And it still can be. That's the beauty of the belts.
Right.
So.
Right. Well, they can be certainly defended over there and taken back and forth by Billy and Peyton. But to me, your absolute top contenders to right now, at least, especially since the Riot Squad's been broken up, look like it's going to be Kairi Sane and Asuka, who are on SmackDown. So it looks like that they're going to be utilizing the tag titles on SmackDown, at least for the time being.
Hey, whoever wins them, they get to pull double duty. So that's something true. You really have. You could literally have Team PCB reunite, win the tag titles, and be on Raw and SmackDown. That's the beauty of it. There we go. Let's do our full Soup Shake wrap up. And it's at the point, you coined that term. It's what I think of now. I don't think I have to catch myself writing the full Superstar Shakeup in the title for SEO reasons.
Yes.
Because people are like, what is a soup shake?
Yeah.
The following superstars made the jump to Raw in this year's Shakeup. Now, this is official from WWE. AJ Styles, he's going to be a top of the line main event guy on that brand, obviously. Yep. The Miz, he won't be far off. I don't imagine. We had mentioned, why would they move him from Tuesdays to Mondays? Well, because there will be no Tuesdays in the fall. There will be no USA.
He'll be on the USA show, and he'll also have a USA show later as well. Yeah.
Ricochet, Aleister Black confirmed for Monday Night Raw. Good for Aleister Black. He gets to hang around with his wife. Ricochet and Aleister Black as a team. Don't know how I feel about that permanently, but I for now, I'm cool with it because it was just desolation in that Raw tag team division for a while.
Yeah, I mean, I'm fine with them teaming for a while. What I'm dreading is the inevitable heel turn of one of them. I'm like, I don't want to root against one of these two dudes. They're both awesome. Like the way that it's going to be is, now, it's because tag teams can't just dissolve. They have to be broken up by one bad guy of the two dudes.
Eric and Ivar, the Viking experience, which I do not expect that name to stick around.
It can't. It just can't. It's the worst thing. I mentioned this that I was going to talk about last. They should have called them Valhalla. Valhalla just sounds awesome. It's the Viking afterlife where you fight on a battlefield all day and all night you feast. And in the morning, you start it all over again for eternity. It's badass. There's all kinds of things you could have called them other than the Viking experience, which sounds like the Scandinavian section of Epcot. It's terrible.
I fully expect them to have some bangers with AOP. Lots of beef in that one.
Lots of beef. Lots of raw beef, according to Corey Graves, who says that they eat raw meat.
Andrade and Zelina Vega. For Andrade, great. For Zelina, I look at things and I'm like, you got an awful lot of people with similar skill sets on that women's roster. I don't know how much wrestling she's going to be doing.
Yeah.
But when I look at it, I'm like, you've got Lacey Evans, rough around the edges, Liv Morgan, who's never proved herself as a singles competitor.
But now she's on SmackDown.
Oh yeah, that's
Liv Morgan's on SmackDown.
Good point. Sorry, so that does ease my mind a little bit. Zelina being over there, we'll see how that goes. But I like Andrade being over there, and Zelina needs to be there with Andrade for sure.
Yeah.
We also have Rey Mysterio. He was one of those where I was like, okay, yeah, sure, why not? He is a name, but he's going to be a 50-50 guy.
Right. He should. And they started this thing. It had amazing promise. It's on Raw where they have all kinds of time to fill. You do not have an excuse to do something other than like a best of 5 Andrade versus Rey Mysterio, one a week for a month and a half of just letting these guys have awesome 14-minute matches where they like you can make Andrade a star off the back of Rey Mysterio. It can be this amazing thing that they could do. You don't have an excuse not to do it now.
The Usos, not on the same brand as Roman Reigns. That's a bummer. But on the same brand as the Revival, that's really nice.
That is nice as long as that's the thing. We have, the skirmish interlopers, the former War Raiders who are there now. I'm assuming they're going to wind up with the belts soon. The Revival, I like the Revival. The Revival, their best iteration of them in NXT was when they were like middle of the road. We only care about ourselves. We have no heel or face alignment. So I love them being in the middle of Usos and War Raiders. There is a triple threat tag team match somewhere out on the horizon for the Raw tag team titles that's going to be awesome.
Naomi, along with, she's over there with her husband. She's fine. She's going to be a 50-50 person. She is hit or miss in the ring. She's either really good or really just not there.
Yeah, I mean, what you presented last night as the top 2 contenders for the Raw Women's title are Natalya and Lacey Evans. And I'd rather see Naomi versus Becky than either of those two. So, I mean, like, it's a weird thing. Like, the women's division on Raw is kind of suspect at this point. It's I'm not sure.
EC3. I don't know what they're doing.
All it takes is for him to come out and say, "I'm sick of this crap. I'm not losing ever again." And be like, "I'm in the top 1%. I'm going to prove it." Like, just have him do it. Like,
you know what's a lot easier than coming up with new talent because nobody's over? Getting people over. That's it.
If you said, "Hey, you can sink or swim, get yourself over, kid," EC3 is the kind of guy who can do it.
Yeah. Lacey Evans, she's obviously going to be a top name on the Raw Women's Division. We know about that.
Sure.
Cedric Alexander, we'll see how that ends up. It could be Mustafa Ali, or he could end up being a guy who's barely on TV.
Yeah, he's better than that. He held the Cruiserweight Championship for a very long time. I know he can also work with bigger dudes from his time on Ring of Honor. He feels like the kind of guy whose ceiling is probably a U.S. title contendership. I don't know if he's ever going to win titles, but he can absolutely hang in that area. There's I don't know where they're going here in the early summer, but he's absolutely a guy who can hang with the best they've got in ring.
Somebody says EC3 needs to go back to Impact for what? For what reason? So he work once every 2 months.
Yeah.
Eric Young, I get the feeling unless they have something big in mind for him, he's going to get beat.
Event. Yeah, he's going to lose to No Way Jose a few times.
Unfortunate. He's a very entertaining guy.
Yeah.
Lots of his matches in our Jimmy Van match archive on FightfulSelect.com, our premium service. Jimmy Van was one of his earliest bookings, actually. Check it out. We have lots of podcasts over there. Let's move to the SmackDown side. Mickie James. Somebody's got to lose on that show.
Yep.
Apollo Crews. Somebody's got to lose on that show.
Yeah. Unless they're teaming him with Chad Gable, in which case somebody's going to lose on that show.
Liv Morgan. Somebody's got to lose on that show. Buddy Murphy. Yeah. Somebody's got it. No, I'm just kidding. He could be really entertaining on this show.
This is the thing. Where I absolutely wanted him to go, if he was going to get called up, is whatever brand Seth Rollins was on, because that's a dream match. Those two guys are made for each other. But again, here's the thing we got to be honest about. Buddy Murphy was never 205 pounds. So he's the kind of guy who absolutely can fit in with dudes who are bigger than him. He's ridiculously talented in the ring. He has his velocity on his tope con hilos is just off the charts. So he's an amazing guy. I'm really looking forward to seeing what they do with him. Are
you implying that the Athletic Commission did like the Daniel Cormier towel trick and he like held onto the towel to distribute his weight?
It's possible. Who knows?
What do you think will happen to him physically now that he's up there? Do you think he'll like add weight back, or do you think he'll stick with what really set his career off?
I mean, yeah, I don't think he's going to add weight back specifically. Like, I think he might. I mean, he wasn't really making weight. So I mean, like, so at least I don't believe he was.
But I mean, my God, he got a lot leaner.
Oh, he did. That's the whole thing. From the Buddy and from the Blake and Murphy days, he doesn't even look like the same person at all. So yeah, I'm anticipating he's going to stay where he is. Cedric, maybe not.
I think we figured out who the talent was on that team.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, we did. Somebody said the Forgotten Sons might get called up today, and I said, well, if they do, they'll be called the Biker Experience.
My God. Lars Sullivan, set for SmackDown. Okay, well, we got to see how he pans out. We got to see how he ends up.
The best thing for him is that he is not on the same brand as Braun.
Yep.
Because you cannot have those two guys in the ring at the same time, because it'll be like, oh, Lars is really short. Like, he looked like an inch taller than
our. He's not really short. He's like 6 feet tall.
Right. But I mean, like, as opposed to the guys who were like the big guys, he looked like he's about an inch taller than R-Truth tonight.
Hey, R-Truth isn't a short guy.
No, but he's certainly not billed as a monster.
Kairi Sane, she'll be teaming with Asuka. I expect a singles thing in the future for her. She is the ultimate underdog. She is a great addition to SmackDown.
She's great. So it'll be a lot of fun to watch them.
Bayley, in singles action. But what strikes me as interesting is she's on the same brand as noted her best friend, Carmella. They could easily play that up and she could transition in and out. She's versatile in that manner. I don't put any stock in Canada booing her.
No, I don't either. I also I loved the interaction she had with Becky. It was very honest, and says it's been a while. Like there was because it really has. Like Bayley got brought up to Raw, and Becky's only ever been on SmackDown since the draft. So I love the idea that it's been a while means it's been since NXT. That's really interesting. That history that those two have going back that far could be played up again here if you ever got them into a feud. It's really cool ideas.
Elias going to SmackDown. Now that surprised me a little bit, considering that
they don't have as much time to work with there, and that's all he does is eat time on a 3-hour broadcast. He's very good at it.
Yeah.
But having him go out there and troll the home crowd for 4 minutes, I don't feel like they've got that kind of time to spare, particularly with this amazing new roster they've built.
Raw kind of got a lot of fresher new talent, and then Miz and Styles up top, and SmackDown got Balor and Reigns near the top, and then Elias. So, which SmackDown needed it because, I mean, we were talking a few months ago where I was saying that New Day needed to feud with Daniel Bryan so they could have something going on at the top of the card.
Right now, there's another thing that we need to talk about, which is that there are people who are injured and off TV, at least for a while. And when they come back, they can wind up on either brand, and we're just supposed to accept it. I would not be surprised to see Nia Jax move. She belongs on Raw. They're thin there. They need her. But I would not be surprised if whenever she comes back from her knee surgeries, that she just shows up wherever. And also, they've been running those Vulture Muppet promos on both shows. So whenever Bray shows up, he could be on either brand. Here's the weird thing that I'm like, they're not going to do it, but I wouldn't put it past them. If they actually were to give Bray his actual sister Abigail, that might be how they utilize Nikki Cross. Because they have no other plans for her. They've broken up Sanity. She's not on either show now.
I would love that.
If they kept her off TV.
Well, we're not at her part yet. So Roman Reigns, we know what Roman Reigns is going to be. He's going to be a top of the level babyface.
Yeah.
On SmackDown. If they ever go heel with him, that would be fantastic as well. Finn Balor, I think they got to go heel with him and make some goddamn use out of Gallows and Anderson for the 4 months you have them.
Yeah.
For the love of God.
It'd be nice.
Just do it. And you know what? You know what you can do around then? Whenever Big E comes back, you got the club, Balor Club, New Day. Rock that as a top-level feud. But there were also a few names that weren't brought up. You mentioned Nikki Cross.
Yeah.
I could see her being with her husband, Killian Dane, or I liked your idea. Her as Sister Abigail makes a whole lot of sense.
You could easily repackage her. She's not that well known to the main roster. She didn't make a ton of on-screen appearances. Without Sanity, she doesn't have a context right now. She's just the crazy girl. So you could easily make her believable with a little makeover as Bray's Sister Abigail. Every time they do that promo where there's the doll sitting in the rocking chair, I'm like, yeah, I could see that being Nikki Cross. There's it remains to be seen exactly where we're going to go with some of these people that haven't been brought up over the last couple of nights.
Well, two of those are Heavy Machinery. I think they're shoo-in for 205 Live.
Yeah. I guess I assumed SmackDown when they didn't show up last night. But they didn't bring them up. They did a thing last night where like, hey, here's a bunch of people that we didn't mention. They're definitely on Raw. They didn't do that necessarily tonight. So I'm just assuming Heavy Machinery is going to be on SmackDown.
Ugh. Not looking forward to those two. We got a super chat from Ross Gould that says, is Daniel Bryan still on SmackDown? Yes, as far as we know. So let's look at the SmackDown roster, the top of it. Roman Reigns, Kevin Owens, Kofi Kingston, Daniel Bryan. Those are 4 real big names. just right there. Finn Balor ready to emerge as a top name. You have Elias there too. You got Randy Orton just hanging around, by the way.
Yeah, he didn't show up tonight. He
Samoa,
showed up last week and RKO'd a bunch of people, but this week nothing.
We're led to believe that Samoa Joe will be on Raw as probably. He was really sick. I believe that's what the EC3 segment was meant for. But you also have names who have competed at the main event level, like Jeff Hardy, Shinsuke Nakamura, people that they can kind of float in and out of there. Ali had a world title match. Don't know how many he's going to get now, but
again, he's your upper mid card hope spot babyface. You could float him back and forth and never give him a title reign, but always keep him near one of the belts.
Sure. Over on Raw, Seth Rollins, Braun Strowman near the top. Who do you see emerging as a top main event guy? Because I think we're due one. The Miz probably is going to fit there.
I think as soon as they want to, they can split up Aleister Black and Ricochet, and both those guys belong at the top of a card.
Ricochet's going to have to learn how to talk. Aleister Black's going to have to learn how to talk.
I mean, like, Aleister Black, you could absolutely see Vince being like, no, he doesn't talk. See, he's a minister of the dark, like, the ministry. Like, I mean, like, I could absolutely see him just running back some dark priest crap. If
only he had EC3's gimmick, he'd be fine. Where he just didn't talk for months at a time.
Yeah.
Drew McIntyre seems kind of poised, or did until they 50-50'd him to death. Now he just seems like a guy who might challenge for the title on a pay-per-view in the future. I'm real interested, and I'm not sure if it's in a good way, to see how Raw ends up, because you know who didn't get split up? Corbin, Lashley, Drew.
Yep. No, that was one of the main reasons I wanted Drew on SmackDown, was to get him away from that muck. Because Baron Corbin needed to change the scenery too. He didn't change scenery or repackaging something. You can't keep wasting a third or a sixth of every Raw is a half hour of just Baron Corbin mucking around backstage doing a chin lock. Like, it just feels like
sir. It is a half Nelson crossface.
Sorry,
thank you. To not hurt Darren Young's feelings.
I apologize.
Leave us a thumbs up on this video, guys. Thank you all so much for being here. We've got some of our best live numbers ever the last couple of nights. We're here every Monday. We're here every Tuesday. We're also here every Wednesday at 6 p.m. Eastern for the List and Your Boy. It is myself and the Fightful founder, Jimmy Van. Tap that bell for notifications. I was told some didn't go out tonight. We're also here after every pay-per-view. And if you want more, we have FightfulSelect.com. Warren Hayes does the NXT 205 Live UK review live every Wednesday, 10 p.m. Eastern. Every week, I do the Fightful Report podcast. I give you exclusive info, contract updates, injury updates, stats, Fightful behind-the-scenes info. Then every weekend, we have the Weekender podcast from Steven Jensen, who covers NWA, Ring of Honor, AEW, Impact, PWG, NXT spoilers. A lot of non-main roster stuff is covered on the Weekender podcast. But every month, we have the Retro podcast. This month's, I believe, is WrestleMania 20. Next month, Money in the Bank 2011. Myself and Warren Hayes review that. And then every other week, I come at you with the Q&A show. That will eventually be a weekly show. But if you subscribe, you can ask as many questions as you want. There is no limit. Alex, what do you have going on this week? You watching any NBA playoffs?
Of course. I'm watching right now. Watching the Blazers and the Thunder.
Well, I have confirmed it with you, with Jeremy Lambert, with Andrew Thompson. It's set. I think it's June 20th. It is called the Fightful NBA Draft Post Show for some reason. We will be here to overreact about the NBA draft, because there are a few things that I enjoy more in life than having freezing cold takes about things that happen in the NBA. Like the time where I said Terrence Jones was a future All-Star. Like the time I crapped on the Bulls for trading Jimmy Butler. Like the time where I celebrated Josh Harrelson for being drafted in the second round just because it was willed into existence.
Sure.
But, hey, there are some that age very well, like Lonzo Ball being a heaping trash fire.
Well, I don't know if you believe some of the pundits, the fact that he was injured and wasn't playing defense, that's the only reason that LeBron missed the playoffs because Lonzo Ball wasn't there.
Yeah, he needed somebody to shoot 37% real bad.
Well, I mean, I'm just happy to by June 20th we'll be celebrating the championship of the Milwaukee Bucks.
It's quite a possibility. It is quite a possibility, and you know what? I wouldn't hate it. You know why I wouldn't hate it, Alex?
Why?
I am a monster University of Kentucky fan.
Yep.
No University of Kentucky player recruited by John Calipari since he's taken over has won an NBA championship.
Interesting.
Isn't that amazing?
It is crazy.
Like it's beyond it. It's one of the most. It's a coincidence because it's on the teams.
That's right. Yep.
I'm ready for him, and it's unfortunate what happened to DeMarcus Cousins. But
yeah,
guys,
that was tough.
Yeah, leave us a thumbs up, guys. Thank you all so much. You all are very important to us. So clickety clack that thumbs up. We're out.